Hey guys, in this video we went ahead and redid this front yard. You guys are going to watch our transformation from what used to be a couple trees to now some floating steps and a water fountain out front. So the first thing we had to do was mark out where we wanted the steps to go. We went ahead and went through some planning and designing, got those approved, and then from there we were able to start digging out where we wanted the first and third steps to go. Because there was trees here initially, we had a lot of root issues and actually really held us up trying to get those roots out because they were not dying. Although the trees were there or have been gone for a while, those roots were still hardy. Went ahead and we put those pipes under the ground there for future sleeving under the steps. We also laid down some gravel because we wanted some drain rock under the steps, but we ended up just kind of redoing this part of the steps you'll see here soon when we built the forms. So the forms went in. The first one was generally easy, went up to the sidewalk there. Then the third one was built right above it, right before the second and the fourth steps. We also put the 2x4s or 4x4s under those steps to allow for that floating effect, and we were able to drill our rebar into the street so we could then lay down our wire mesh and then begin our first pour. So we had to use a half-yard mixer. Edged everything pretty well up against the sidewalk and then stripped their forms because these were floating, so we had to finish the faces of that top step there. You'll see us do it on the next steps after this pour. When I've got everything looking great, it was a great day to do concrete because the weather was quite cool. We were then able to start our next phase, which was demoing the front part of the porch. And so we saw cut the closest part of the porch that we were keeping along with the driveway there. Took out this portion that we wanted to redo and got everything ready for our top part of the step. If you guys are enjoying, please stay tuned. We're going to go ahead and do that second step here, or the second pour for the steps, and I think you guys are very impressed. It turned out just great. This is our first time doing floating steps like these. Went ahead and took out a lot of dirt there. That soil was super soft. The original concrete that was there was sinking and cracking pretty bad, so we took out a lot of that loose stuff because I imagine when the house was built, this used to be a planter bed. We took that all out, and then you'll see we drove in some rebar stakes into the side of the driveway there to keep this from shifting. Lay down some gravel we had there. You can see us building the forms. I had some friends come out, help us build the forms. Formed those up pretty nicely, oiled them. Got some rebar up the top there. You can see the original rebar that was there from the other steps. We kept those there as well because they were already drilled into the sidewalk or the driveway. Right ahead, poured that second step, same as the first ones, and they also poured the top one. So we had to get two mixers on this batch because each mixer was half yard and we needed about a full yard, so I went ahead and got two loads. You'll see as we're going to do our saw cut soon. First started by finishing, we screeded everything, put in our, not saw cuts, we put in our control joints, and then when everything cured up, second step was first because it was poured first, so it was ready to go. It was setting off pretty quick. It was a warmer day. Went ahead. We're going to float the faces of them. Everything ended up with just a broom finish. You'll see that soon. So our finishes weren't too crucial, but we love to get everything as perfect as you can. And finish that top step. Broom finish there. Perfect. And we let everything set up just like that. Had the canopy cover it to help it cure slower. This was a little backtracked here. We went ahead and you can see the steps weren't done here, but we went ahead and this was when we were doing that fountain part. We went ahead and the fountain arrived. We dug the hole for the basin. A little bit harder than digging a normal hole because of the roots from the trees that were there before. Those sycamore, the roots were no joke. You'll see us taking out a couple of those. They really made this a pain, but we were able to make it work. I mean, even with the roots there, it would have been better having more saws, but Is what it is. We had axes and shovels, and we just went at it. Got those all out. Digging this hole plenty big enough to fit the basin. Wanted to make sure this basin wasn't going to be too high, too low. We wanted to make sure this was going to be level, perfectly level. You can see we put the sand in the bottom. You don't want these basins to be not level, because in the fountain, when it's all complete, will be spilling off one side rather than the other. Went ahead, backfilled around the basin after everything was perfect. Put some weedberry there beforehand, just so it wouldn't move. Help keep weeds from growing out on the side of the basin there. Installed our fountain. I have a more in-depth video of us installing this fountain if you guys want to check that one out. Went ahead, put some rocks on the bottom, preferably sand, some other gravels at the bottom to hold it still, hold it from moving. Here's our first fill up. You can see that fountain had quite a bit of pressure going there. That's to get through the top bit of the water, to get that little bubble effect at the top of the fountain. Caught me off guard there, but it was all good. As soon as you let it settle down, it's perfect. And you can use those valves inside the basin to adjust the water pressure as well. You can see me come back here to adjust the pressure. See, it's up max there, just about max, and then you can turn it down. Really nice feature of the fountain. Put the lid back on, and it's ready for rocks to go on top and hide that basin. The idea is to blend the whole basin there. Kind of, you want to hide that square effect to be able to look natural. You'll see we do that here in a sec. Walk around, see the steps are done, fountain's done, and then boom, put some rocks around it, some old boulders, and help it blend into the landscape, and you would never know there's a basin under the ground there. Here we're tying in those from the old irrigation lines there, tying into there, and then running it across through our sleeves we put in earlier. We're getting ready to run our drip tubing so that we can have our plants can have water. Here's another day of root digging. Those roots were a pain. They came up everywhere you wanted to dig. There was roots, and so we wanted to have a sunken in dry riverbed there, and the roots were in the way, so we rented a stump grinder, went ahead and took out a bunch of those roots that were in the way. You see where the pressure washing the roots on the other side of the yard as well to kind of get the dirt away from the roots so we can see it, and then grind on the edge of the concrete there. Here we're putting in plants. All the plants are getting drip tubes ran to them. Getting pretty close here. Used all the plants that were on the plan that were approved by the HOA. Those all went ahead and went in. Then we brought in our bark mulch. We wanted to use a thicker bark mulch to help it be easier to clean during leaf season. Put in some weed barrier there. The weed barrier wasn't totally crucial, as we were going to put in a pre-emergent weed killer, and weeds hadn't been an issue prior. So you can see our final product here, walking up the steps, walking past the fountain. All those plants are going to mature in. Looks great. And here's a little before picture with see the bush in the back, and then just a dirt mound, and then boom, we got our stairs, our new plants, rocks, fountain. Turned out great. If you did enjoy this, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Go check out some of our other work. We are out of the greater Sacramento area. We hope to see you guys in the next job.